Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Let's Talk News. I'm your host, Leticia Romero, and it's been an interesting day over here in South Carolina. So I'm coming to you from my home office in my jammies. So I hope you don't mind. I'm a little lazy tonight. I worked really hard today. Um, I had to put shade cloth up in my garden because the feel like temperature here has been 113 for the last several days. And my tomatoes got a hornworm infestation, which saddened me. I'm finally getting eggplant and zucchinis, and I don't want the hornworms to infest them. So I had to pull out all my tomato plants and get rid of them and put some seedlings in that I was growing on my porch. So needless to say, every muscle in my body aches because, of course, I did it by myself in the heat. And I got to tell you something. Those shade cloths, I don't know if we have any gardeners here, but those shade cloths really work. I was working, underneath the shade cloth, trying to get it up, and I had to build a structure and all that. And while I kind of threw the shade cloth over the structure, and I was underneath it working, and I was feeling great until I had to work on the outside of the come out from under the shade cloth. Holy moly. It was like a sauna. But I'm just shocked because they're just like little plastic netting, black plastic netting. But the temperature difference was at least 10 degrees underneath the shade cloth. So hopefully that means I'm going to get some fruit, I hope, because it has been a brutal um, garden season. And in South Carolina, we get to go until mid October. So I'm just trying. This is the first time I've gardened, like real gardening, for fruit and vegetables in South Carolina. So I'm trying everything. So we'll see. I just put in some carrots and, as I said, new tomato plants. I'm putting in some hot peppers, things like that. I'm lousy with peppers and cucumbers. Plenty of those. Tomatoes, zucchini can't get one to pollinate. The girls won't open their flowers. It's crazy. But anyway, that's not why you came here. You came here because you wanted to talk about the news and what legacy media covers and covers up. And we're going to talk about that today. But first, I'm going to say hello to everybody. Hello, Kevin from the other side of the world and the same side of the issues. Good to have you. Hello, Francine. How are you? Hi, Colleen. Good to have you. And yeah, nice and comfy. Yes, I even have my comfy slippers on. Hi, Angela, Ricka. Hi, Karen. Good to have you. Thank you. I got something to spray to prevent hornworms when I got my plant. I thought that I needed something different than what I already had, and I could kick myself because I did have 7, and they take care of hornworms. So I made a special trip to the store. Not that it was far because the store is Walmart is literally a quarter mile up the road. Um, but when I was looking at everything, it said use 7, so I used 7. Hi, Chris. Love you from the Rock. We love you. Thank you for jumping on board with us tonight. Yeah. So anyway, I had put a couple of the plants that weren't totally destroyed in the ground somewhere else, far enough away from my vegetables, that if the infestation continued, it wouldn't jump over. So I'm going to see because there was some tomatoes still on the plants. Not a lot of leaves, but some tomatoes. And I think I've been fighting these damn hornworms forever, because I was having a leaf problem the whole time. And I just never saw them. I never even considered that I had hornworms because they weren't eating the tops of the tomatoes until recently. But then again, they were that big and they were that fat around. So they've been eating forever. Hi, Andrew Dorman. Good to have you. Happy Thursday. Okay. So why I wanted to do this subject matter tonight, because I'm kind of fed up and pissed off. Tonight we're going to do a lot of screen sharing, because I want you to see what other countries' news covers, and how they handled their news. The U.S. is in everybody's news, without a doubt, whether it's the Middle East or Ireland. I think, who do I have? I have BBC, I have the Irish Times, I have the Swedish Times, and I have Al Jazeera. So I pulled those up so that we could see. The U.S. will always, always, always make news in those countries daily. That's why I read those newspapers, and watch those channels, because they're always talking about us. And I find that the better way to know what's going on in America for real without getting the slant from legacy media is to look elsewhere, and have a look at what they're reporting on as important to us. Because today's news, and let me see, did I do that? I didn't pull it up. I'm going to show you. Hold on a second. Today's news was a lot of bullshit, but then one of the news items was the USS Lincoln, and the fact that the deployed men and women on the ship, their families are complaining that they've been out at sea too long, and that the conditions are not good. And listen, I come from a Navy family. My uncle was deployed for a year and a half, and he said it was rough. My grandfather, was a merchant marine. My uncle was a merchant marine, and there are times that you're out at sea for a very long time, and that you don't get a break. But the fact that our mainstream media is making a story out of this, during a conflict in the Middle East, is remarkable to me. Just absolutely remarkable. Hello, Leticia Chavone. Good to have you. Let's see. Yeah, true Italian gardener. Yeah, I am, Kevin. I am an Italian gardener for sure. And they blend in so well. Don't see them. Oh yeah, the hornworms. Oh my God, they're terrible. They're terrible. They are. You know what I learned is that you have to go out at night with a flashlight, and they glow in the dark. Hornworms. I know, we're back to hornworms. I'm all over the place. I haven't been drinking. I think I'm a little dehydrated from the sun. If you go out with a flashlight, they'll glow in the dark. The problem for me is that where my garden is on the golf course, there are coyotes back there and lots of snakes. And I'm not afraid of coyotes or snakes, frankly. But I don't want to come up on one and get bit, because, my luck, it'd be poisonous. I mean, we have rattlesnakes here. We have copperheads here. We've got a lot of ways, a lot of ways to get injured here. And I spend an awful lot of time in the woods. I mean, I've had snakes jump on my head while I have been pruning trees and things like that. But at least I can see in the daylight. When I come out my door and look towards the back, there's nothing. I mean, nothing but darkness. And there's also a big ditch, and we have a little bridge that goes over it. So I don't want to step the wrong way. So anyway, I look for them in the day, and I do my best, and I get them. But now I got the 7 powder, so I think I'm going to cover them tomorrow. I sprayed them today, but now tomorrow I'll cover them with the powder. I hate the powder. It's so messy and it gets in your face. But keep seeing memes that we are fighting Islam overseas and electing them to office here. So true and so crazy. You're absolutely right. Okay, so back to what we were talking about. The fact that our news media here are going to make a news story out of it, as if the commander in chief is not treating the naval forces correctly. Give me a break. Give me an absolute break. When you know when men and women sign up for the military, they know that there may be times that things are going to be rushed. Look at the Korean Ralph. Look at the Korean War. Look at World War II, World War One, Vietnam. Only recently have we been staying away from boots on the ground, hand to hand combat, and doing everything with electronics. Only recently, but I mean, could it really be that they're trying to portray our soldiers as weak to Iran, as crybabies to Iran when we're in the middle of the conflict? Is that truly what our legacy news media wants to do? The answer is yes. That's what they signed up for. That is absolutely true. It is what they signed up for. All right, so let's see. Hold on a second. Give me 1 second. I thought I had everything together, but I don't. All right, I want to show you this now. Well, let me see where I am. Where am I? I'm here. We're gonna have a lot of screen sharing going on. Okay, so Google News. All right, so this is our what we're seeing in the news. That's this evening. But new aircraft carrier heads towards Middle East after reports of issues on long deployed USS Lincoln. So the Pacific-based aircraft carrier George Washington has begun heading towards the Middle East as reports have emerged of mental health and supply issues aboard the long-deployed USS Abraham Lincoln. The Lincoln has been supporting the U.S. war against Iran, and its deployment has included a record-setting uninterrupted time at sea of more than 240 days. Several Democratic lawmakers are pressing for accountability from the Pentagon over conditions aboard the carrier, which Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth on Thursday said were completely misrepresented. Extended deployment of carriers during the Iran conflict have raised concerns about the impact on service members who are away from home for long periods of time, as well as the increasing strain on the ship and its equipment. While renewed hostilities between the U.S. and Iran have calmed in weeks, the Navy has reimposed a blockade on Iranian ports in the crucial Strait of Hormuz, and Trump administration has offered no clarity on how it intends to wind down the war. Okay, so that is the AP, all right? The AP. So when the AP carries it, then that goes around the world, right? So let's see who else has carried that news, if you will. Okay, here's Sweden, USS to replace USS Abraham Lincoln with new aircraft carrier Middle East. Really? Are we fucking kidding? So now it's getting to other nations, and it's going to be repeated over and over again, so that what happens is the Iranians get a head of steam on them, and they say, oh, well, look, that people are upset. These soldiers, they're complaining. It's going to give Trump a hard time. So let's keep on going. Here's another one. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. Here's the Irish Times. The Irish Times did not carry that story. They instead are focusing on Israel and Ukraine. But I'm sorry. Here's the U.S. So we got Carolyn Levitt is their top story here. And the Trump plane being evacuated. So the transported out of Turkey is a big deal for them. So that's what they chose to focus on. And we're going to go and we're going to look at some more, because I want you to see all of the ones that I read anyway. Here's BBC. Okay, BBC. BBC is covering Mangione. Did you hear that he may plead guilty? But here we go. Conditions on U.S. aircraft carrier at sea for more than 250 days. There's another one from the BBC America, or the BBC covering America. It's absolute insanity. This would not happen anywhere else. A free press, we all need it. We want it, right? But this is the story that they want people to read. This is Al Jazeera. Let's see who's U.S. and Canada. Okay, there we go. And U.S. eyes indefinite Iran naval blockade. They talking about this Kennedy Center voting earlier. It was the USS Lincoln. It was in here too. There was a story about it, but I guess that we have changed that information. Okay, so this is what we're doing to ourselves. This is what we're doing to our military men and women. We're making them look like pansies, soft, right? Because 240 days. Okay. Let's see. They go through rigorous training for these situations. I wonder if the sailors are complaining or just MSM and stirring the pot. Well, it is the family, their family. The soldiers, as far as we know, the naval men and women, what do they call sailors? The sailors aren't directly complaining, but some of the wives have said their husbands, are complaining to them. My ex lived on the ship even when not deployed. You suck it up and adapt. You're absolutely right. I mean, I know plenty of friends. We have mutual friends that live on boats and ships, and that's their choice. We've had cruise ships that have been out to sea for a long time. Many days, and we didn't have widespread coverage of it as we do now. So in every major news organization, that story appeared across the world. Now, I didn't go to the German and the Italian and the French, which I usually do, but I didn't have time to translate it. I'm sure it's there. Once it's in the AP, that's it. Everybody gets it. So, my question is this for real? I mean, they're willing to jeopardize the lives of our military men and women to make Trump look bad. I just hope somebody, when that ship comes back, I want somebody to talk to the sailors and ask them what's going on. I mean, because Hexeth is saying that there's no problem. I mean, they're saying plumbing issues and sanitary issues and running out of provisions. Now, why would that be? There are ports all over the place. Why would that be? It wouldn't happen. Fucked up. I used to sunbathe on a giant gun on the ship. Yeah, it's just amazing to me that they'll stop at nothing to make Trump look bad. But they won't make anybody else look bad, right? Because in all of that, you didn't see this story about Mayor Mamdani wanting to send the NYPD to the Middle East with his wife to protect her, did you? Did you hear about that? Here.
Personal trip.
Yeah, and that's the hypocrisy. I mean, whether it's him or whether it's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who takes a gas-guzzling vehicle, SUV, to go 2 blocks to go vote with a cop in a car full of cops, by the way, or it's this. We see the hypocrisy of the left. It's like it's good for them, but not for the public. And in this case, he was the leader in the defund the police movement in the New York State legislature. And he is also the one that's standing in the way of us hiring thousands of more cops. We are still down about 8,000 cops than we were on September 11, 2001. And here he wants to take limited resources that we have and send them into a level 4 security risk country, according to the Department of State, putting those cops in danger. And so it is ludicrous. I'm glad it was exposed, and I'm glad he was shown to be the phony that he is.
Did you see his wife on the cover of, was it Vogue, in a dress that had to be $50,000? You know, Mamdani's filthy rich, and he comes from a very wealthy family. And she wears clothes like nobody's business because, I mean, she's got the body for it. You know, that olive oil kind of body, straight and no lumps and bumps and stuff. And she's got that look about her, that 1920s look about her. And they're making her, the press is just fawning over her. Already she's been on more covers. They're treating her like a first lady, not a Republican first lady, because Melania, who is probably the best dressed and most beautiful, one of the most beautiful, I'm not going to say the most beautiful, but one of the most beautiful first ladies we've ever had. They didn't give her a cover. They don't treat her like royalty. People complain to their spouse about work all the time, but it doesn't mean they want to quit. It's called venting. Yeah. Yes, Nicole, that was Newsmax. That wasn't even Fox. That was Newsmax. I mean, Fox didn't even cover that. So how come? And he lives in rent control. Yeah. I hope I'm dead before he's president. He can't be president because he's not a natural born citizen of the United States. Hassan Piker can be, but not him. He can't be president unless they change the Constitution. Hopefully that will never happen. So, nobody bothered to cover the fact that he wanted to send the NYPD with her to protect her. I think that's a pretty big fucking deal, because he, as Nicole said, he wanted to defund the police, but now he wants to send 4 cops to, what was it, Yemen? She was going to, I forget, Lebanon, during a conflict. Crazy. Yeah, it is interesting and concerning. And the fact that it wasn't picked up, that pisses me off. I'm sure the Post had it covered because they cover everything. But other than that, I didn't see it on TV. CBS, NBC, ABC, CNN. Yeah. All right. Here's another one that's interesting. Did everybody remember seeing AOC with her fiance? What was his name? Ricky, somebody, I can't remember. Yeah, they did some, I think when she was running for re-election last time, hand in hand, and there was a whole incident with him and her and all that shit. Well, anyway, they broke up. They broke up about a year and a half ago. She stopped wearing the ring. It was in the Biden era, I think, that they were together and, all chummy. But anyway, they broke up quietly. And when people asked, she didn't want to talk about her personal life. But now she's injecting herself with hormones because she's freezing her eggs. And this is a big deal for her because, she wants to have children someday. So she's freezing her eggs. And in the same time frame as she put up that video of her freezing her eggs, and I don't remember, did we show it the other day? Probably not. I don't know if anybody saw her taking her hormones before she went on TV. She must have got a bee in her bonnet and decided to go off on her boyfriend. But then she deleted the post. Watch.
The internet believes that AOC posted and then deleted a video talking trash about her now ex-fiance after news of their breakup and her freezing her eggs has become public. The vast majority of this shit, are you engaged? Did you break up? Are you freezing your eggs? I don't care about that. I'm interested from the social media PR side of things, because this video where she says, hey ladies, freeze your eggs before you start a family with a loser, is now causing her a lot of problems.
Kids at a young age, beautiful, like, love that for you. A lot of these people who pressure women into having kids at a young age or trying to create hysteria around being too old, etc., what they're trying to do is rush you into having a relationship with a loser. By a loser, I mean someone who doesn't respect women, someone who doesn't respect you, someone who doesn't treat you well, someone that doesn't support your growth.
Now, there's really only two ways you can interpret that video. Number one is that it was about your ex-fiance and you realized how shitty it was, so you deleted it. Number two is that it really isn't about your fiance, but everyone thinks it is and they're connecting the dots, and so you deleted it thinking you're doing it out of respect for him. And you know what? I think either way, once you said that, you got to keep that shit up there, man. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. Because as always, it's not the tweet, it's the delete that will cause problems.
Not the tweet, it's the delete. Colleen says, I thought she couldn't afford kids because she's forced to have 2 residences and it's too expensive with a $174,000 salary. I guess she's going to wait until she's rich or until socialism kicks in, because then everybody will be the same. Maybe now with Mom Donnie's grocery store, she figures she can afford it. I don't know, Kyle. Freeze her eggs and use them as a baseball. Yeah. That does cost a lot of money, doesn't it? It costs a lot of money. Oh, and by the way, lots of things cost a lot of money. Lots of things do. And I have other clips I want to show you, but this is the new thing, right? Freeze your eggs, then get them fertilized and pop them back in, or use a surrogate. But things don't always go as planned when we do this modern technology stuff. Hold on a second. Let's see this. This is a crazy ass story. Biological parents have custody of child for now. What happened was that the surrogacy, the surrogate was hired to have a baby, and then the doctor said the baby would have some health issues, so they told the surrogate to have an abortion, and the surrogate said no and ran away to Texas. And now Paxson protected the baby, and the baby was actually born early. And let's see, what is it that the baby has? It's a problem with the heart. It's hypoplastic left heart syndrome, a rare birth defect where the left side of the heart does not grow correctly during the 20-week scan. So they found out during the 20-week scan, and the parents wanted her to abort the baby, but she said she couldn't do it. And she ran to Texas, and she was trying to become named as the biological parent. But a judge, she had the baby, and the parents claimed the baby, and there's nothing she could do right now. So they have the baby and are trying to get it care, according to their lawyer. But how interesting is that? I wonder what they feel like. I wonder, now that they see the baby and it's a baby, I wonder if they regret demanding that you have an abortion. The lawyer is making it as if, well, these parents now have to suffer the heartache of the baby. Well, how about the baby? It's a living, breathing human being. But I digress. But that's the kind of stuff that's happening now, and the stuff that you can't predict. And what do you do? What do you do? It's you can't make this stuff up. Yeah, let's take all the time she needs to find her loser. Oh yeah, Gary, how are you? I saw that. I didn't know the parents got custody. Yeah, well, it's their baby. She was just a surrogate, and there was a surrogate agreement. And in the agreement, it said that if the parents want to terminate the pregnancy, they can. And she signed it, but then she couldn't go through with it. But the more important thing, I mean, we talked about the mental health issues of the being out to sea for 240 days without a break. Well, what's going on in these parents' minds right now? And what do they tell the kid? Because now, if the kid lives, which I think it will one day grow up and see this story. And how do you reconnoiter that? My parents wanted me dead, but the woman who gave birth to me saved my life. How do you reconnoiter that? What's that kid gonna think? I mean, there's plenty of women who were gonna go get an abortion and wound up keeping their kids. That's a different story. But this is parents demanded an abortion. Surrogate said no, ran away to Texas, got the AG involved, and saved the baby's life. I hope that baby lives, and I hope it grows to be healthy. I mean, we have so much that we can do now with the heart. So we'll see. They did emergency. Oh, wait, Colleen's giving us information. They did emergency surgery on the baby, and it has a high success rate. So now they took it. Aha! It's all not natural to me. Yeah, I'm with you, Lucille. I didn't think I'd ever get to this point in time. But if the parents had their way, there would be no baby. I think the surrogate should get the baby. Now that surgery was successful, the parents want it. Well, it's kind of crazy stuff. All right, we got a couple more. All right, this one too. I don't know if anybody saw this on CBS, NBC, ABC, but Royce White has decided that he's a trans woman and he would like to play for the WNBA. Watch.
Obviously, the Lynx is the first choice, but the Fever, I mean, who can deny Caitlin Clark and what she's done for the game? I think I'd be able to elevate the game to another level still. I think I could take the game and really put people in the stands, put people in the seats, increase the TV audience, and hopefully that would increase the dollars. More women, more trans women would get more money and more exposure. I think it's a win-win for the WNBA, honestly. I don't see why they would be against it. And I would be the number one pick for sure. Enes Kanter's a good player. And hopefully, I mean, I would really love to play on the same team with Enes, because you want to play with the best players. That gives you the best chance to win. But I actually do think I'm a little bit more versatile than Enes.
So do you believe that you could potentially field an entire team of transgender players in the WNBA based on their own rules? I don't see anything that would preclude this.
Well, they have a board of governors that make decisions, but I was thinking about an expansion team even, because the WNBA has the chance to grow Caitlin Clark. Has shown that. And I know they just had a collective bargaining agreement, so it's probably a stretch, but special circumstances call for special measures. And an expansion team, my personal favorite name out there is the Decepticons. But if we were able to do an expansion team, I mean, I think I could probably get, 10 or so other trans women that would make it almost one of the best sporting events to watch on all of television. It's set to do an interview with CNN at 5 p.m. Central. And around 2-3 o'clock, they messaged me and said, "We're canceling the interview. We have other news." That's the universal excuse. We have other news. And I just, for the life of me, they're not giving black women a voice. Sometimes identifying as trans black women a voice on CNN. It's just blows my mind. It's disappointing. It is. It's a huge disappointment. Especially CNN.
So there you go. I mean, CNN refused to air the interview. He was all over on all the podcasts, Free People Radio, The Benny Show. He was everywhere. And he was also on, I think he was on Laura Ingraham, I think. He was on Fox. But CNN Yeah, they canceled. They decided not to show it. The Decepticons. That would be the name of his all trans team. Yeah, it turns out the WNBA didn't identify or didn't define woman when it said who could play on their team as long as they're a woman, and so that's why Royce White is decided he's a trans woman and he wants to play. Interesting. I mean, of course, a lot of it is tongue in cheek, but why not? Do you know what the Blues Clues campaign is from Abdul El Sayed? Is the Blues Clues campaign from Abdul El Sayed? You mean like the dog, the kids show Blues Clues? I don't. I do know. What do I know? I know that Plattner is campaigning in Maine with the guy that replaced him. I wonder what's gonna happen there. Colleen says TNBA, Trans NBA, get their own league like Barnum and Bailey. Yeah, right. Well, their own league and their own team, the Decepticons. All right, and we're gonna end the show with this: the things that the media doesn't show you about Donald Trump and some other presidents. Watch. Oh yeah, I forgot. We can all talk. This is Macron. This is King Charles. Oh well, he just fell down. What are you gonna do? Joe Biden's looking at his watch as they're taking a dead soldier off the plane. There's Obama with coffee in his hand as he salutes. And here's Trump. And there you go. Going to help you out with give you your hat back. The man always gives respect and honor to the military, to people in uniform. Always. And you can see how excited. Look at the girl at the end of this. Look at how excited she gets. Big smile. Yeah. I mean, this is the guy that they said, he said bad things about, soldiers. I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. But you don't see this, right? Nobody shows you this. And if it wasn't for the clips that people put up on social media, you would never, you would think he's evil. This is not the stuff that they like to show you. The only time I see half of this stuff is on Fox, not even Newsmax. Yeah. It's just, he's always deferential to others. I mean, he's one of the guys. And, and he loves, big guys, he loves manly men, and he'll always comment on it, but he's very, very gentle, especially with children. I mean, it's just amazing to me how they treat him as if he's some sort of horror show. He's just the president for everybody. And to me, he makes me feel safe. Even though right now we're in a conflict, he actually makes me feel safe. And he always takes care of his wife. Always. Now, remember when Joe was helping Joe Biden across the lawn? The news media made such a big deal about it. Trump is always taking care of Melania. Always. And always a gentleman towards women. And they never have anything good to say about him. I haven't looked yet, but it's a piece from the News 24. I'll have to take a look, Kevin. Blues Clues. Well, we could do it right now. Actually, now I see it's not confirmed that baby had surgery, but this morning I heard it did, so not sure now. He is a class act. Hold on a second. Let's see. I'm going to Google Blues Clues. What was his name? El Sayed. Let's see. Abdul resurfaced Kitty Show campaign clip. Oh. Okay, hold on a second. Hold on. We'll get it up. We'll get it up and we'll share it. Hold on. This is why I love you guys. Keep me on my toes. Okay, hold on a second. Here we go. Okay, this is, let's see. Oh, this was a,
Here's the mail, it never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes, I want to wail.
there you go. That's what it was all about. Blues Clues. I'm just hoping that these polls that they're coming out with are skewed. I think they are. But I really would hope more that the Republicans will get on their game and start talking facts to people and start messaging properly. I don't want to hear any more about this affordability shit without hearing that the people that are complaining about affordability are people that all went to college and have degrees but don't want to go to work. We need to call them out, because if we want to drive out the average voter, we have to remind them that these are people who should be making six figures and only are not because they studied, women gender studies and basket weaving. So hopefully the Republicans will get their shit together. People don't really pay attention till September anyway. So, but I hope that messaging comes forward. Yeah, that was a waste of time, Kevin says. Well, but we looked at it, right? And we got to see it. And why in the world he would be using Blues Clues, I don't know. But I'm sure he's going to get sued for it. Off topic, I really hope Graham's sister doesn't win South Carolina. She will. She's going to, she will win. I voted for her because we had 2 Congress people running, and there were 3 people in the top 3. My congressman, Russell Fry, who is in a seat where I'm not going to say it's purple, but it could go purple because there's so many New Yorkers, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, who live here. So that was scary to have him, to have an open seat there. The other guy is way, way north in a very, very conservative seat. But I didn't like him because he went for Nikki Haley over Trump. So when Darlene, she's got some chutzpah, and what I like about her too is she's not an insider. So yeah, so I voted for her, and I'm going to vote for her again. Bobby is going to vote, I think, for the other guy, Ralph Norman, but I'm going to vote for Darlene. I think that she's tough, and she's doing okay. So we'll see. I think I forget when it's a couple of days. 25th, end of August is our runoff. I saw on the news today that college kids have cleaning ladies. It's a big market for the cleaners. They do laundry ETS. Well, you know what? This is the kind of stuff, though, that Republicans have to talk about. Republicans have to talk about this stuff so that people understand that we're not talking about blue-collar workers. The people whining that they can't make a living are people who don't want to work. They want to spend all their life in school, and they come out with an average of $50,000 of college debt, and then they cry that they can't afford anything as they live with mom and dad. We need to point that out. I thought college kids eat ramen noodles. Now they have maids. No wonder they're useless. Listen, they have decorators too for their dorm rooms. It's a whole big thing. This whole designer dorm rooms parents are going overboard. Custom drapery and whatnot else. Look it up. Designer dorm rooms. Okay. 45 minutes of me yapping. I love you guys. I thank you so very much for joining me. If you're watching and you're not watching on YouTube, but you do have a YouTube account, please subscribe to my channel because we're 110 people away from the magic 1,000 number. They keep taking people away from me. Yeah, share it with your friends. Tell your friends. You can go into YouTube and look for Let's Talk News and just hit subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. Yeah, just so that we get a little bit of traction, because I can come up with all the great ideas, but if it's only, us 100 people, it's not going to do anything. I didn't like Lindsey Graham. He's total swamp. I feel like she will be like him and McConnell. Yeah, but she's not. That's the whole thing. She's not. She is already on different positions than Lindsey was. So pretty cool. 99. Oh yeah, they took it away again. All right. Oh, I need 99. Oh, to 1,000. Oh, good. Oh, something happened then. I didn't notice today. Thanks, Kevin. Again, the parents spoiling. Yeah, the parents ridiculousness. We've got to do better with the messaging. The Republicans, I just can't. We need to get rid of the swamp. I wish McConnell will go. I wish they'd all go and, let the new blood have in, like Russell Fry is fantastic where he is in Congress, and I need him to stay there. He is a really tough young man, and Darlene's pretty tough too. She, like I said, she's already taking positions different than her brother, and she's for the SAVE Act. She's for a lot of things that we're for, and she's an outsider. Yeah, she's not going to have. She doesn't have the same clout that Graham had, but that's okay because she also doesn't have the same. She doesn't owe the same people that Lindsey did. Let's put it that way. I'll leave it at that. All right. I will see you all on Tuesday, unless something interesting happens this weekend, and it may. I love you all. Thank you for joining.